On the eve of another debt auction, Spain says it is open to a bond-buying plan run by the Eurozone Rescue Fund. Speaking to CNBC, Economy Secretary José Manuel Campa says he is not concerned that the ECB is no longer purchasing peripheral bonds. Stefan caught up with Minister Campa on a roadshow in Paris. Stefan, what was he telling you?
Yeah, José Manuel Campa yesterday evening was in Paris to meet the French investors ahead of the bond auction on Thursday. Spain is going to raise between 3 and 4 billion euros from the bond market, and it's like a lower premium than a couple of weeks ago because there's less pressure on Spain since the government announced the speed up of the restructuring process for the cajas. I met with José Manuel Campa and I started to ask him how he felt about this bond auction on Thursday.
We're fully confident on the appetite of investors about our paper. We've been issuing regularly. We've been following our funding strategy as planned, and even in the periods of higher turbulences, we never have observed any lack of appetite. You know, it's true that the spread, and as you mentioned, the yield evolves according to market conditions, but we have no concerns about whether it's going to be successful or not. We certainly will be successful. According to current market circumstances, it seems like some of the spreads have been lowering a little bit. The yield is being more stable because underlying interest rates have been shifting, but we're fully confident that we'll be able to place.
Are you concerned that the ECB stopped buying bonds in Europe?
I'm not concerned at all. I'm aware of the information that they've provided. I think that they are very clever in what they do, and I think, as I mentioned before, in terms of our position in the bond markets, we've been always having a strong sense that there is a good appetite for our investment, and we have not observed at any point any lack of interest, so we're confident that this will be good.
You have decided to speed up the recapitalization process of the cajas. Originally, the Bank of Spain was supposed to review the situation in September, but the banks will be able, if they want, to ask for public money from the next month. Why did you change the schedule?
Well, no, let me clarify. It's not that originally they were supposed to do a review. They're still supposed to do a review. The way the plan is structured, has been announced, is that we are going to raise minimum capital requirements for all financial institutions. The main reason we want to raise minimum capital requirements is to give a full guarantee to financial markets on the solvency of institutions, of banking institutions in Spain. What we said and what we're going to do is, once we raise these minimum capital standards, it's reasonable, you know, to give institutions an opportunity to raise this capital. This opportunity has to have a reasonable length of time, so we will ask them to provide plans of how they expect to raise this capital. These plans will have to be announced shortly, and then they'll have to be executed. And what the central bank, the Bank of Spain, will do in September is review the execution of these plans. Now, within these plans, institutions can choose to or can suggest that they would rather go to the public recapitalization fund, the FROB, than to have access to private equity markets. And what we say is that FROB, that fund, has always been available, it's available, and if they choose already immediately to go to the fund, that's only a possibility.
How much public money do you think will be necessary to recapitalize the cajas? Elena Salgado, the finance minister, is confident that it won't be more than 20 billion euros, but the market estimate is actually much higher. What if more money is necessary? Would you make it available?
Well, the key point, and this has been said for a long time, the FROB is available. The FROB has leverage possibilities, has 9 billion of equity, leverage possibility of up to 10 times that. That's 99 billion. We always said that that's more than enough of any reasonable amount of recapitalization that will be needed for the financial sector. So far, it's been used a very, very small percentage of that, of the order of 15 billion, slightly less than 15 billion. So, you know, the money is there and it's always been there. The 20 billion number that the Vice President mentioned is an estimate of the recapitalization needs according to the increase in the capital requirements that are being put forward, or that were expected to be put forward in the next days. Is not in any sense, you know, an estimate that leads to a capital requirement. Is the other way around. We set capital requirements to very high levels that are by any international standard, you know, considered to be absolutely above what's considered to be reasonable, so as to guarantee the safety of all the institutions, their solvency, and that increase in the capital requirements is what's going to lead to the necessities of capital.
And José Manuel Campa will continue the roadshow today. Will travel to London to meet British investors. Talking about Spain, BBVA, the second largest Spanish bank, is due to report in 45 minutes' time. We're expecting the bank to announce an 8.7% rise in full-year net profit with a strong performance of its Mexican division, which is likely to offset the slowdown in the Spanish banking sector. That's the Reuters consensus. Net profit is expected at 4.58 billion euros. With that, I send it back to you in London.
OK, thank you very much indeed for that, Stefan. Well, let's focus a little on the currency markets. Neil Mellor is currency strategist at Bank of New York Mellon. Good morning to you, Neil. Good morning. To see you. Look, over the last sort of 24 hours, it seems to me, people have become slightly less concerned